trying to tell her, let's go through the drive-through to get married.
Why not?
I want to so bad, and she
Yeah.
wants a wedding, so
We'll do both.
I don't want to.
Perfect.
I don't like half of my family, and I do not.
Well, there you go. And it's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper, trust me.
Welcome to So Funny It Hurts. I'm your host, Michaela Gordon, where we explore the trauma that makes comedians so funny. I'm so grateful I slid into his DMs, honey, hoping it would go well. And I'm so proud to introduce stage illusionist, magician, comedian, actor, host, dubbed as the Dennis the Menace of magic with a blend of comedy, headliner at the Tropicana. Murray SawChuck, thank you so much for joining us.
How are you?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm so happy you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for
awesome.
coming. I forgot you've done so many different television shows. Obviously, America's Got Talent, which was incredible.
Yeah.
And you also did Masters of Illusion on CW.
Yeah, my 9th season this year, yeah.
Which is incredible. My show is on the CW afterwards.
Okay.
Totally weird and funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that.
Oh, that's amazing.
More importantly, you were on Reno 911.
Oh my God, I was on the first season before it aired. I called it Reno 911 because it wasn't a thing. No one knew about the show.
Stop.
Oh yeah, when I got the casting call, I went and auditioned. It was for Comedy Central, which I loved because I'd never been on that network. I was young, in my late 20s, and so I drove from Vegas to LA, auditioned. As you know, auditions like 3 minutes, and I hopped in my car and drove back home.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got back home, if you know Vegas at all, when you come down to Prim, which is the little town for people that don't know Vegas, just before you get to Vegas, and I got the call back and said, not even call back, and said they love you, you booked it, which is amazing. You usually get a call, and so I was like,
Fast.
great. I'm like, okay, great. And I didn't realize. I thought it was just some crappy little, maybe I don't know, maybe a pilot. Was what it was. And so I came back like 3 weeks later. I arrived that morning, get on the set, and they want me to be this magician that pulled out all this ridiculous crap out of my jacket as a drunk driver. And I'm like, that's a really funny idea. Mm-hmm. And so I bought a bunch of crap. They don't have magic crap. I don't have rubber rabbits and feathers and these weird flower things. So I had to go buy this cheap crap. So I bought all this stuff, get there on set. I see no cars. I thought, it's going to be one of these shoots. It's going to be one of these crappy little... But I'm like, well, I'm here now. It's a few $100 hotel. And it was after us. So I hop in the van. No one's around. We drive down North Hollywood, and all of a sudden we make a right turn on one of these streets, I think Magnolia or something. And they almost had like 6 blocks blocked off, 7 cop cars, 10 Star Wagons. I was like, holy shit, I should have read the script more because it's a real shoot. Like I could not believe and then as I'm going to my trailer, I'll take you to the trailer. I'm like, oh, I get a trailer, which I went camping all my life, never got excited about a trailer. But then when you're an actor, you want a trailer, which is nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a sink and a crappy little bed.
It's a big deal.
So it's so funny. So the Star Wagons, as I'm walking down, remember, I knew nothing about Reno 911. It wasn't even on TV, so I didn't know the characters. I didn't know anything, right?
And reality television wasn't like that. There wasn't happening yet.
No.
Shows like this were not a thing.
Nothing was. And so I'm walking with my buddy Lefty, who's my guest actor in my show, my best friend. He's helped me. I'm walking down, right? It's like 7:30 in the morning. So as I'm walking by one of the trailers, there's this... Now remember, it's not aired. No one knows the characters in the show. I don't know anybody. I walk by the security guard by the trailer. And he's wearing these super tight shorts. He's got a moose knuckle like you. Unbelievable. Super tiny shirt. And got the glasses. I say hello. It's like, hi. I was like, wow, those shorts are tight. I'm like, whew. And so I keep walking by. I'm like, that security guard. You think he'd have a little bit of a... And I had no idea what the show was, right? So I go in my trailer, relax. And I get ready. And of course, I don't shoot till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3, but I'm there at 7. Get ready. Had no idea what to do. So because it was all improv. There's no script. So I put everything in my jacket to figure out a way to pull this stuff out because things don't come out of a jacket naturally, like, Inspector Gadget. So I practiced all this. I get on set. I'm still talking about that weird dude security guard, and I'm standing there, and we do the scene with Wendy Coveney, who's one of the stars of the show, and we do the scene, do 4 takes, and they're like, "That's it, we got it." I'm like, "That's it, we've got you. Sure, you've got it?" Because I felt like I wasn't really. No, we got it. And this other guy walks up in those tight shorts again. I'm like, there's that security guard. And he shakes my hand and goes, "Hi, I'm Thomas Lennon." I said, "Pleased to meet you." And I didn't know who Thomas Lennon was at the time. And he was like, I wrote the show and it's mine and I own it. And thanks for being a part of it. I play Officer Dangle. I'm like,
Oh my God.
He's also one that wrote Night at the Museum. Like, that's his script. He wrote the whole thing.
Yeah.
So he's really, I mean, obviously, now we know each other. But at the time, I was like, man, whew, those shorts are so tight.
Oh my God. And they were the best.
So funny.
You know,
But I
they
had
just
no idea.
celebrated their 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Niecy Nash was with the whole crew.
That's
I mean,
right.
Wendy went on to do so much. Bridesmaids,
Yes.
which was so incredible.
All of them actually did a lot.
Niecy's doing so great. She just won awards for Dahmer. I mean,
right.
that's insane how fast time went by, but that you got to be a part of that.
Unreal.
And so incredible.
And I was hoping it was going to air because I was on the 6th episode. So as it started to air, I didn't get the humor because it's not my style of humor. Like, it's very obvious what's coming. So I'm like, I just don't get it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I knew it was the 6th episode, and I thought, man, I hope it stays on the air to get to my episodes.
Yeah,
I want to see it air.
yeah.
And then it became a cult classic, and now it's out there. But it's just so funny, you know, when something, you never know if something's going to hit or not, you know? So
I mean, it's such a great lesson in our business and in this career. Like, you really don't know what the thing is. And so part of this is just chasing what the enjoyment is and what
Yes.
brings us joy, because we don't know. I mean, I want to go back a little bit. Now, growing up, I was reading, and if I'm wrong, you can let me know. But you did a lot of different things. You're a musician. You were playing saxophone really early on. And so being an artist has always been the thing, but it was actually a Vegas show. You were not living in Vegas. You were a little kid at the time. It was Siegfried and Roy that sort of influenced you to sort of get into magic, which now, in retrospect, you have your own show here in
Crazy.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Was that what was the thought when you were little? Like, were you like, I just want to do magic and entertain people?
it was ironic. You know, from the age of 5 on, I was in entertainment. So I started dancing professionally at the age of 5. So I trained ballet. I never danced ballet, but I trained ballet. But I danced Russian and Ukrainian dancing because my background's Ukrainian. And my other background is Scottish. I'm 50-50.
Oh, wow.
So my dad was very traditional. So I played the accordion. I danced in these big red baggy pants. And no wonder I was single till I was 20. But but the point is,
I think that's hot, Murray.
I mean,
Okay,
yeah, right.
so
Playing the
we're
accordion,
into
right?
it.
Yeah. So anyways, we went through all that. Then, you know, around 7 or 8, I got into magic. My parents did give me a Siegfried and Roy magic kit from Reno, because in the 70s, Reno was actually almost more popular than Vegas, because they'd have these flights down super cheap for Canadians, 'cause I'm Canadian, from Vancouver, and they'd have these really cheap things. So Reno was actually really popping back in the 70s, early 80s. So that's where they went. I got this little magic kit. As a kid, you do it for 2 seconds and chuck it away because it's a toy.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 13, I asked for another magic kit for my birthday, and I got that. And Copperfield was on TV at this point now, and he was really the big thing on TV. He was huge. He had a special every year. It was pretty phenomenal. And that's kind of inspired me to go, hey, maybe I can do this as a career, you know? And
Yeah,
so
it's
here we are.
crazy. I mean, I think magic is so unique already, but you're a funny guy. Like, you're up there, you're being really funny. I know Lucille Ball, I read, was somebody that you really looked up to, along with Dean Martin, who are both phenomenal musicians and both stage entertainers. So funny. Did you want to do stand-up first? Did it matter what direction it went as far as how you were on stage?
It was interesting. The way it worked is I wanted to be a magician, so I did that because I knew I could fool people, and I was good at the sleight of hand stuff. Maybe because I played music with my hands and piano and accordion and all that. And then in my mid-20s, I realized on TV, there's only 1 or 2 magicians that are ever well known on TV. It's not like musicians where you can have 1,000 of them, or comedians, or singers. But magic, usually 1 or 2, like Houdini or David Copperfield or Blackstone. It's never so. All of a sudden, and also naturally off stage, I was just funny in the sense of I never took anything seriously because I always saw the light of everything. Things are funny to me. So I thought, but that's a different funny though. Like me being funny having coffee is different than trying to be funny when there's an audience watching you, because they're not with you, and you need to bring the audience with you on that journey.
Yeah.
And then if they're on that journey with you, now you can be funny. If you just all of a sudden make a joke about camping, and I go, remember that time we were camping, and we start laughing, they're like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because they're not even camping in their head. They're still at Walmart shopping in their head. So you have to get them to the campsite, then you get a little fire, then you're by the lake, so then people, oh yeah, we are camping, and then you can do the joke. And that's how humor works. So I learned in my late 20s, as I had my show here in Vegas, I opened my show in 2002 at the Frontier, and I wasn't doing a lot of comedy. I'd do a couple of jokes, but they were literally just a hack joke. So I would drive to LA and do open mics on Mondays and Tuesdays at Laugh Factory and the Comedy Store. I'd wait in line. Here I had a show in Vegas, but I'd wait in line to do 3 minutes. And I wore these plaid pants with these suspender things that hung off, a loose white shirt and a loose tie, just a different look. My hair was always up. And I would just do comedy. And 9 of the jokes would bomb. 1 would actually be good. And then I'd come home, put that in my show. And then I'd work on the other 9 or toss them. And then I'd go back the next week and do another 10 and bomb 8. And hopefully 2 would be funny. And that's kind of how I learned. Because I didn't want to rely on my magic. Because I could easily put out a deck of cards or a coin and do a trick. Because I knew I was good at that.
Yeah.
But I didn't want that to fall back on. If I wasn't funny, then I wasn't funny, you know.
Okay, so let's talk about bombing. I was at the Comedy Store a couple weeks ago. I think I'm going to start doing stand-up again. I stopped a long time ago just with cancel culture and everything happening. And I'm like, well, I'm a singer. I'll keep singing.
Sure.
But I think the most difficult thing is really embracing the bombings, the failures, the embarrassing feelings that and it's cringy. Like, you're like, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I've driven home from LA and I'm like, I fucking sucked, dude.
The worst.
It has to happen in order for you to be as great as you are. I mean, you're headlining now. Was there ever a moment where you bombed so badly that you can remember that was also a really pivotal moment in your life, in your career?
Yeah, I mean, there's one point years ago, I was doing a show in Vancouver, Canada, where I live, and it was a competition, and it was the Children's Magician of the Year competition, and we were doing it at a night college. It was a college, but they were doing night school at night. So in the daytime, regular college, in the nighttime, obviously, night school. And we were using their theater. And at that time, it was a very advanced theater, but this is like in the 90s. And so I had this great idea that I was going to appear on stage. And what I wanted to do is have this big diamond of light. So it's a big diamond, a black hole of light that you can't see anything in it or through it. No one's there. And the idea is a flash of smoke appears in front of it. And then as soon as the smoke disappears, I'm standing in the middle of the light triangle. That's the trick, right? So I'm hiding behind some black cloths and all this other stuff. So, but my idea was when I appear, this is when I used to comb my hair nice. I used to look very combed to the side. I used to look somewhat normal. And so I thought it'd be funny if I had my hair really spiked up crazy. I wore a normal tuxedo, but everything was blown up.
So this is how the hair was created.
This is one of the ideas.
Like one of the
along
moments.
with Phyllis Diller, which is I was a huge fan of Phyllis Diller.
Yeah,
who's a great
course.
comedian. And Rod Stewart, that's where I got the ideas from. But this is the beginning of it. So I spiked my hair up because I actually combed it really conservative. Had this black tuxedo, but the tuxedo I made look like it was blowing up. So the shoes were blowing up. I had the shirt sticking on my fly. I had the flower ripped. So as soon as I appeared, I'd stand there and I'd walk forward, get the applause. And my first line was, whatever you do, kids, don't try this at home. And that was my opening line into my 3-minute segment.
Yeah.
I forgot, because I wasn't that professional at the time, I didn't tell the stage managers that I was using smoke. And they had this brand new system in their college and theater. It's a laser system for smoke. Smoke hits the lasers, the whole alarm system goes off. Well, they never turned the lasers off. I was the opening act to 10 acts, and they just loaded all the people into the theater, all these audiences, and of course my opening trick, the first damn thing, I didn't even open my mouth, and then boom, the smoke goes off, I step out, I said, kids, what are you doing? Don't try this at home. And I'm looking like I've been blown up. All the alarms go off. The whole theater gets evacuated, right? The show just fucking started. I walk in the back. I'm out back because we all got to evacuate the building now. So I'm standing like this, blowing up. I'm like, God, I guess since you really should have told us you were using smoke. I said, well, I just didn't realize I didn't think that would trigger I didn't know you had lasers like Mission Impossible for the smoke alarms. And then as I'm standing out there, I walk out to the street and I see 2,000 people on the street. I'm like, I said, where the fuck did they come from? I said, it's 8 o'clock at night. I said, oh, you didn't know? I said, no. They said, tonight was the night of their final exam for night school. And they were all at their test. And then to top that off, I'm standing out there in the street and the fire trucks come flying in. They get out and goes, everyone okay? And they come up to me going, oh my God, are you okay?
Oh my God, because it looks like you got blown up.
That was the whole joke. Talk about a joke that lasted an hour and a half. That wouldn't let go. And I was like, no, I'm fine. This is kind of a look thing. Like, you sure? I'm like, no, I'm well aware of what I look like. This is the thing. But the whole thing, I wasn't planning on having you guys show up as well.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the points. And I didn't win the competition that night.
Honestly, I would have given you all the awards.
I know, right?
You stuck to Did you?
Wow.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's fucking insane.
You can't write that. You can't write that. Talk
There's
about a domino
nothing.
effect. Like one little trick, it'll be really cute and funny, and it wipes out a whole college.
Cleared the whole place, and they were
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So that was fun for them because they could, pass notes back and forth.
Yeah, so you got right back up on stage the next day. You were feeling so
I was
confident.
back.
You
I
were
was like,
so
here
ready.
we go. Yeah, minus a smoke machine, So yeah, or a flash pod, whatever.
Listen, man, I remember I was trying this. It was here in Vegas, and I am not a dancer, by the way. And I was trying something new, and I had this ponytail in, and I flipped it too hard, and it caught on fire on one of the candles.
No.
And it smelled so
Yes.
bad that it cleared the fucking club out.
That's amazing. 'Cause
And
burnt hair just has that
Oh,
smell.
it's disgusting.
You can't get rid of it.
And it
It's
was
like popcorn in the microwave.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
over. It was over.
Yeah.
And it was fake hair. I mean, thank God it wasn't my
thank God
hair.
for that.
I can burn my own hair with chemical bleach,
Exactly,
but it was awful.
That's amazing.
But those are the moments. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the. I think sometimes those are the better moments than
Yes.
the knockout moments.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
They're
sure.
different,
It's a
but
great
they're
story.
yeah, they're great stories.
I remember I was being baptized. I don't remember because they told me the story. My parents. I was being baptized. We grew up, Christian in the church in Camden. I guess the minister had me in his arms or something, doing whatever, the water, Holy Ghost, and all that stuff. And I guess they had candles on the side of the pulpit or the pew or whatever in the church. And he's swinging me around. I guess the top of my head got one of the candles. And it got on fire, so I didn't even have much hair to begin with. I was just born, yeah. So what hair I had, I lost. So,
priest sent your hair off.
I don't remember that, obviously, because I was just a baby. But
Listen,
just
those
a baby,
priests are
but
not trustworthy,
No.
and that's just another
man,
reason
that's
why.
a sign right there. That's a sign right there. I should know right at the beginning. So I've been to church since, but the point. So there it is.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about your parents, because one thing that we do talk about on this show is, I always like to recognize comedians. I mostly speak for myself that it's the trauma that makes me funny. I can laugh at myself and the jokes and the stories that made me.
course.
We often look at comedians like Robin Williams, who they all carry these big faces and these big energies, but they have a lot going on. Was your childhood somewhat normal? Were you the only child? What was it that drew you to relying on your comedy and the magic, besides just the creative
Sure.
force of it all?
I think, I was raised in a pretty conservative household. My mom and dad were awesome. I was, really raised really well. They were married forever. Dad passed away about 7 years ago, but they were married 54 years until that
I'm
point.
sorry.
Yeah. But he was 83, had a great life,
Yeah.
Died of old age. Mom's still rocking. She's still here, and she's
Come
83.
on.
So, but I think I was raised in, I was born in 73, so I was raised in that world of get a real job, General Electric or Sears, or work for the government or the post office, good pension plan, work 35 years, and your life will be set. You know what I mean? Because they took care, cities and countries took care of people if that was the way it worked. But
Yeah.
now with inflation and changes and everything else, that system's kind of crumbled. But that was the way my dad grew up, and my whole family's on the railway. They worked for the train companies, Canadian National Railway,
Wow.
and so I was the only one in that whole family that didn't work for the railway. And the railway at that time was still a really great job. I think it still is. They're still using trains now, but it was a solid job that they really needed to transport things across the country. And I could have easily gotten in because my dad worked there and everyone worked there.
Yeah.
And, it's who getting into places like that. And my dad, though, he always shared his dreams that his dad didn't support. And he could have been a professional baseball player or a musician. So he cut one album when he was a teenager at a talent show because he won it, because he played every instrument. He didn't even read music. He just picked up an instrument, could hear it, and just play it. And I don't even know how you would even know how to do that, but my dad could do that. And also baseball. He was, as a teenager, he was always in the newspaper for fastest hitter and runner and all that stuff. So he could have easily been. Now, don't forget.
God, talking about right wing, left wing brain, being an athlete and a phenomenal
That's
musician.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But then he also was raised with these people at a railway, hard blue collar workers, and they lived on the railway tracks. His dad, my grandfather, the little Donald Duck thing that goes on the railway track that you see the cartoons do.
Yeah.
My grandfather did that. That's what he used to fix
Wow.
the tracks. And they lived right on the railway. And the only time they got hot water was when the steam train would would come by and dump the steam water into their big, kind of little silo that kept the water, and that's how they got hot water that day because, all that stuff. So, so when I came along, I saw my dad's dad, who I never met, but curve him to just being in the railway for 35 years, which he had a great life. We had an amazing life. He had his house paid off in no time and a really good life, but he always talked about being a baseball player, being a musician, and he never did those dreams, But he also had the dream of a family, and then he raised me well and my mom and took care of us. But I was like, man, wouldn't want that to happen to me because my dad was in the newspaper at 12 and 13 years old for being that talented. I'm like, you had it then.
I mean, it's so crazy how we discover I never want to say wasted potential, but just what it would have looked like if people had the opportunity to live to their highest potential, which I think is why artists are so incredible.
Yeah. Yes.
No matter we fail, no matter we keep
That's right.
going,
Totally.
you're at least trying for it.
That's right. Yeah. And also when you're given that platform to allow yourself to try new things and different things, which comes from your parents usually, or your best friend, or your grandparents, depending who's your closest, ally, And so for me, when I went into this business, I thought, man, I'm really the black sheep of it all because, wow, talk about magic. Like here I had an opportunity to have any job in the world because I want to be a firefighter, a marine biologist, or a chiropractor. Those are my other real jobs I wanted to do because they paid well. I could have a great life with those. But I started magic at such a young age and I became successful. As a teenager, I thought, well, I'm making more money than I dreamed of at like 15, 16 years old.
Shit.
Well, why can't I keep that going for the rest of my life? But magic is right down there by clown, gesture, juggler. I mean, if you want to make a lot of money, you wouldn't step into those categories. You know what I mean?
Right.
You'd go, scientist or plastic surgeon or whatever the heck, to make a lot of money, So I really stepped out of that box. But my parents were always supportive. But Dad was always like, you could always go back into the railway. I always got that. Or General Electric's hiring, or Sears has a good job, and it's, now look at Sears now. But back then that was one of the biggest stores in the world. It was like the Amazon of the '70s.
Yeah.
So I went this direction and it hasn't changed.
It's interesting though. I can only relate. I moved in with my mother-in-law. We're living with her right now as we wait for a house to get ready.
Nice.
And she's so lovely, and I adore her. But she's much older, and she doesn't understand to this day what my partner and I do for a living. She doesn't understand. She just keeps saying do you have health insurance?
Yep.
She needs the basic
That's
things.
right.
And sometimes I get frustrated because I wasn't of that generation.
Yes,
I
of
could be
course.
anything I wanted to be.
That's right.
And I'm like, girl, don't worry. I'm never disrespectful, but I'm
No,
like,
but
girl,
you're like,
God,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
I don't need that right now.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
And my partner always says, you can imagine growing up being a creative and having that.
Yes.
And it does take a lot of chutzpah, even though they mean well. I know my mother-in-law means well.
Of course, yeah. Because they care about you. They want the best for you.
Of course.
To them, that's what they think is the best for you. Because that's what they're known for you.
But for it to not stifle you and
Yeah.
for you to continue on and be so wildly successful, I think that says a lot about your character and a lot about your leadership and confidence within yourself.
I think so. I think no one's going to believe in you more than you. Like I always tell people in a relationship, I always hear these people like, oh, he's not that great or she's not that great. I'm like, stop for a second. I said, how great are you? Well, I got a lot of, I said, well, okay, well, stop now. So you make yourself happy. I don't care what you need to do. Go for a walk, a jog, smoke a joint, do 10 jobs a day or do nothing. I don't know what makes everyone happy. Whatever you make yourself happy. Once you figure out yourself, now worry about that person that you want to make happy. Because if you're happy, it's a lot easier to make other people happy. It is. As long as you're wake up in the morning and you can sort your own crap out. Because if you can't sort your crap out, don't put that crap on somebody else. Because they're sure as hell not going to be able to figure it out. It's your body, your life, your mind. So you sort that out, whatever you need to do to be a nice person that day. And when you can be a nice and happy person that day, you can now invite other happy people and make them happy. But if you're not happy, don't blame your happiness on somebody else. Or it's raining. Well, so what? Deal with it. It's raining.
Yeah.
It's raining for everybody. So, figure out what makes you happy in the rain. Because it's going to goddamn rain sometime. So, be happy. So that's the way I've always looked at my life. So anyone who's pissed off, I go, whoa, stop. I need you to be happy first. I'm not responsible for that. I'm not. I can add to that. But I'm not taking responsibility to make you happy. You need to figure that out on your own. What pants you want to wear, or dress, or hair, or job you want to do, or car you want to drive, or whatever you need to do to get off that day. Then come to me when you're Switzerland, when you're neutral. And then I can be a part of that now. But don't blame me for you not being happy. I don't want any, I don't want any involvement in that. You know what I mean? And then, yes, there's other people that are antagonists. But yeah, I think it's a fair argument when you're in a relationship or a friendship or even parents, dealing with parents and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. We just did the episode before you. We had my dad on. Yeah. And we are doing great, but we had to explore our relationship through therapy. And I think it's really important. He's also another artist, and he's really incredible. But I'm grateful that I had his leadership as well in music. Yeah. Were there any people in particular that mentored you, that brought you a little piece of happiness, that helped you get to where you are?
Yeah. My mentors in magic, I had two growing up. My first mentor in magic was a gentleman in Vancouver, still alive. His name is Sean Farquhar, and he was a very well-known magician back in Vancouver. He still is, still a great magician. But at that time, he was like the magician in, so it's, big fish, small pond situation. And then he became a world champ magician over the years, and he's very well known in the magic world now, and a great friend. And he's the one that really encouraged me how to get in the newspaper, how to be a better magician, what kind of tricks I should learn and do. So he's really influential. And then after that, he introduced me to this couple named Mr. Electric. And his act was lighting light bulbs. So from the 1940s, late 1990s, that was his act. And don't forget, light bulbs were only invented in the early 1900s. So can you imagine in the 40s or 50s somebody walking on stage with a real light bulb, putting it in their hand, and then lighting it up brighter than the room, and then putting it down? Like, you'd be like, that's unbelievable. Yeah. So that was his act. Yeah. And Liberace hired him for 5 years. They were the opening act for Liberace, for Lee, which is his nickname, and they toured every arena in the world. They opened the Stars Casino here in Las Vegas in the show called The Lido. Like, they're really, really well known. They were on the Tonight Show and every show you'd imagine. So they met me when I was 16. And beautiful looking couple. They always dressed the nines and, old school Hollywood. And she always wore the hats that matched the outfits and all that. And her name was Carol, Marvin Carroll. And they met me at 16. And they said, Murray, if you want to do something in life, try to be different and original, because no one can take that away from you. And I said, here, you're young and good looking, so you can just buy normal tricks or steal normal jokes or whatever you're doing. And you can be really great because you're so young. You're ahead of your time, so you're cute and good looking. So you'll be amazing because you're cute and you're a novelty. And you can work basically a year and do these tricks and stuff and be a great act for 5 years because you're cute and young. But that's not going to last forever. Or you can work on for 5 years and find something super original and different that's going to keep you going for 50 years because people want to. And that's the idea, to find that, put more effort in to be unique, different, and you, because no one can be you. That's the greatest thing. If we tapped into who we are, no one can steal it from you. We're trying to be everyone else. I'm like, just look in the mirror and accentuate the good, the bad, and the ugly of you. And that's it. No one can take that away from you.
I mean, I think that's the equivalent, and I'm going to totally fuck this up, but you'll know what I'm saying, and so will the audience. When you say you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, but that's also, right. No, what is it? When you
bring a horse to water,
can feed them the fish, or you can teach it.
That's right, and that's true. I rode horses all my life, and you can bring, honest to God, that's a true thing. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can walk them right to the water, but if they don't want to drink and get their head down the trough, they're so strong, they'll never drink the water. They just won't. And that's true, and that really is a true saying. Like, if they're thirsty, they'll drink. If they're not, good luck. You can swing on their neck, you're not going to get their face close to that water. Yeah.
I think it's incredible that you bring up being unique and that advice, because you are very unique. I've never met anybody like you, and I've never seen anybody do your acts. There's a lot of different magicians here. There's a lot of different headliners here. Yeah. And I would like to do a game that we like to play called Fuck, Marry, Kill. Have you ever played that?
I've never played Fuck, Marry, Kill, no.
Do you know how it goes?
No, tell me. How do we do this?
Murray, you've never heard of Fuck, Marry, Kill?
No, never. Never.
You're an angel.
No.
Fuck, marry, kill is, I'm going to give you 3 choices, and you have to choose to fuck one, marry one, and kill one.
Okay, got it. Okay, great.
Okay,
no, I know that. Yes.
Does that feel okay?
I thought you
actually got there and started murdering people?
No, you said fuck, marry, kill. I didn't realize there were 3 words. That was fuck McHale.
Fuck Michaela. That's what we're going to play a game called Fuck Michaela.
I didn't know. I don't think I know that game. Fuck, marry, kill, I know, but fuck Michaela, I don't know. I've never fucked a McHale, so I'm going to have to.
I only had a cup of coffee today. I should have enunciated better.
Yeah, fuck, marry, kill, I have heard, but not fuck McHale.
I just got my lips filled, and we're just struggling a little bit. Okay,
this is my I've never played this, but hey, I'm game. What the hell? It's Monday.
Okay, are you ready?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Fuck, marry, or kill. This is the Vegas headliner edition in honor of you being a headliner.
All right. Do I have
Penn
to
and
only-
Teller.
Okay, carry
Oh,
on.
go.
No. Do I
no.
have to? Each one has to be. I have to. Once I use kill, I can't use it again, right?
Nope, you can't.
Okay.
You can
got
only
it.
use them once.
Okay, I got it. Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Penn and Teller. Wayne Newton. Celine Dion.
I would. I would kill Penn and Teller,
Great.
fuck Celine Dion, and marry Wayne Newton.
I love marrying Wayne Newton.
He's Mr. Vegas. Why not? And he's
Totally.
rich and he's still alive.
Listen to me.
You
I
know?
fucking love
Why
Wayne
not?
Newton.
And it would make some great press.
It totally would.
And he's about as tall as me. So that's pretty-
And he also has great hair.
yeah, great.
And
hair.
he deserves
Yes,
that.
Exactly. See?
Okay. Next edition. Jerry Seinfeld. David Blaine. Adele.
Adele, David Blaine. Who's the other one? The first one?
Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld. I'd probably Adele, Jerry Seinfeld, and
David Blaine.
David Blaine. I'd probably kill David Blaine.
Great. Is that a personal thing?
No,
That's-
I
okay,
like the
great.
guy. He's just
Okay.
really popular right now. He sells
I
more
was
tickets than me.
As I was literally asking, I was like, I wonder if magicians and comedians have beef, like how singers sometimes do. You're like,
We do,
okay,
but
bitch, go off.
not with David Blaine.
Okay.
David Blaine's awesome. I love David Blaine. But no. So I'd kill David Blaine, and I would marry Seinfeld and fuck Adele.
You've got good choices.
See?
I'd marry Seinfeld
Yeah,
too.
rich, nice guy, funny.
Yeah.
You know, not evasive. He kind of just pops in and pops out. Not that demanding.
He's not bothering
No.
you. He's
like,
just gonna make you laugh.
Hey, you know that paint's purple. You know why it's purple? I don't know why, Sherry. Well, I'm going to tell you, okay? And then 20 minutes later, he tells me.
Did you ever watch his show Coffee Talk? Where
Yeah,
he
it's great. In the car,
it's
Coffee and
great,
Cars.
Coffee and Cars.
Loved it.
It was great, right?
Yeah, he had Obama, and they drove around the White House parking lot because
Yeah,
he couldn't
yeah,
leave
yeah.
the house. And Jerry Lewis. He did Jerry Lewis here in Vegas.
Yeah. All right, last one. David Copperfield, Rod Stewart, Piff the Magic Dragon.
Oh, that's funny. I would kill Piff the Magic Dragon.
Right.
So I want his dog. It's so cute.
I know. Are you a dog person?
I love
We'll talk
dogs,
about
yeah.
that next.
Yeah, I got 3 chihuahuas, yeah. So I'd probably kill Piff. What's the other 2? It's David Copperfield and
Rod Stewart, your
Rod
guy.
Stewart. I'd probably fuck Rod Stewart and marry David Copperfield.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah.
That feels great. We met
Yeah.
David Copperfield a few months ago.
Yeah.
Never, I'm from Vegas.
Yeah.
But I lived in LA for 15 years. When we came back,
Okay.
I haven't got to see all of the shows.
Sure.
And there's incredible shows here.
Yeah.
So we
Great
went, and it was a great show.
Yes.
Magic is phenomenal.
He's one of the best in the world. And the reason why is he's never stopped. He has an incredible team that is always looking for the next thing. And he never stops working. You know, he's a workaholic. You know what I mean? So,
Do you think it makes a difference when artists stop working and then come back? Like
Totally.
if they take breaks? Does it?
big difference, I think. I mean, even when Roseanne stopped for her TV show, you know, and she's a legend in that business and a trailblazer and all that, and she stopped doing stand-up for 20 years because you have a TV show and you're a star as an actress, you know. It's a different story. And then going back to stand-up, it's like you stop playing the violin for 20 years. Well, you're not going to be able to pick it up right away, you know what I mean, or piano. But when you walk on stage every night, I forgot, because, you know, I'm so lucky, knock on wood, to work every night. You know, I just came back from Orlando last night, and my friends hadn't seen me there for years. I used to live there. And they were like, it's unbelievable how your show is just like clockwork. There's not even a... And I said, yeah, because I've been working for 20 years straight, literally. So the bits are just the bits. It's like when you see any great comedian, from Dane Cook to Russell Peters to all these, you know, Eliza, you know, they just, because when you're working, it's just as you know, it's a beautiful thing when you just walk on and have no stress, except I hope they really have a great time and react. You're not worried about, I hope I deliver it right, or I hope I time things, because that's the worst when you're thinking. Because when you're thinking and performing, like if you're thinking of the words to a song, you can't really sing the song. You know, if you're thinking about the words to a joke, you can't really just sell it. So when you have that, it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? When you can
Yeah.
have that, yeah.
You know, I think people take breaks sometimes just because of the simple burnout. So
Yes.
what's a way that you do, being this iconic magician comedian to take away that stress if you do experience burnout?
I think I work hard, play hard, you know. I think that's the difference. So in my schedule, I write a list every night before I go to bed on a piece of paper, not in my phone, because I got to have I got to see it in writing. And it's my list for the day. So my day is, this morning was to get up, and I went to the doctor, get my heart checked, because not that I got a bad heart, but I don't want to die young. So did that, and then I loaded some stuff back into Tropicana, had a quick bite, came here to do this with yourself, and then I got my show in about an hour and a half at the Trop, and then I'm done. And then Danny's off, my wife, who's a showgirl in town, and she's off tonight too. And rarely we have the same nights off. So we're going to go to a friend's party in town and just have a great, like a date night tonight, which we haven't had for a while. So now literally, as soon as I finish my show and I get home, that's it until tomorrow. And I won't look at my computer. I won't do any business. But then when I wake up in the morning, it'll be like full on. And I'll go,
so you have good boundaries.
Yes,
like you shut down
yeah,
when you
I do.
shut
and
down.
when I go out, I'll have a few drinks. I'll have a great time. Smoke a little bit, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
And I'll have a great time. And then like we always go to Laughlin for 2 nights. I call it the Redneck Vacation.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
I love Laughlin. And we just bought a boat recently, a small little speedboat. And we usually bring 5 or 10 people down there. We stay at the cheapest motel, which is a Pioneer Inn. It's a motel where you back your truck up to the door, put the ice cooler in, bring the dogs and everything. And we literally put blankets on the grass at night, play music till like 4 a.m, and people can do whatever they want to do, spin fire or smoke or do whatever the hell they choose to do. And there's no judgment, no expectations, and everyone can afford it because it's like $20 a night for the hotel room. So, and anyone who's bougie, I'm like, then leave your bouginess back home. This is not about that. It's just about vibing. And we do it in the spring and fall with friends, and we always invite different people. And it's just a cool kind of like a release for 2 days. And we come back home and then comb the hair again, shave, and then be Murray the Magician again. You know?
Yeah.
But for 2 days, I don't answer. I wear a hat, and I just have a great time, and I don't have to be on. I think everyone needs to do that. Some people do yoga, hike a mountain, go to a retreat, or whatever they do. Some people go to EDC, and that's their release, and they go back to being a doctor and a lawyer again, or whatever they choose to do. You know, so everyone has their. I think it's important to do that.
I do too. I think that we're taught in this society to go, the hustle, the grind,
right.
the go,
Yeah.
which I agree. But I also have found myself being incredibly burnt out where I've had to walk away from the stage.
Yeah.
And I unfortunately couldn't. It was paying my bills.
That's
It's where
right.
and I did want to be there, but I
Yeah.
definitely could have used the advice of what you just gave and sort of the permission that you're giving artists through saying that as well. As it's important to take those 2 days.
Yeah.
Put your hat on.
What do you do when you relax? Do you chill out? Do you go somewhere with your partner?
I have no
and
idea. I have an
vacation?
all-star
No?
right now, so clearly we're
Jesus.
not.
Good times.
No idea.
Really? Yeah. Perfect.
Clearly, I need to be
Perfect.
doing more of that.
See,
I might go
exactly.
to Laughlin. I've been
You
looking.
should.
I have in the next couple of.
It's a fun
next
hang.
week, I have a few nights off.
Yeah, it's a river. The river's super clear. You can swim and it's cold, but it's fun just to go down to the beach and hang out there. Little beaches right on there. It's an hour and a half from Vegas. So
Yeah, I love
it's a really
that.
cool hang.
Yeah,
Just don't
I
speed
think
going
we
there
will.
because they have cops all the way there. Stay the speed limit.
No, Murray. I drive 4 miles an hour.
Perfect, then you'll be
No one
fine.
wants to be
You'll
with
get there
me
in a week,
in a
but you-
road trip. If you want to go to LA, count me out.
Wow.
We have to do those trips. And Lisa's
Yes.
like, just get in the passenger seat.
Perfect.
I'm not willing to be in the car with you anymore.
Perfect.
And I'm like, good, thank you.
See, at least you know.
Yeah, I do. I'm aware, and that's part of it.
That's all that counts.
I love that you're with a showgirl.
Yes.
And I love that you guys live here together. You work, you play together.
Yeah.
What relationship advice do you have, if any? Because I think it's nice when couples can work together and also play together. And it can be difficult.
Sure. Yeah, I think what people need to do is don't take life so seriously. Don't take things so personally. And when you're in a relationship with somebody, let them be who they want and should be. Let them be an individual. My thing is I want to live with my best friend. You know, I also want to sleep with my best friend and fuck my best friend. So that's my best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I want you to be my buddy. You know, I want you, but I don't want to. My biggest thing in a relationship is just because you're married or in a relationship, I don't want to all of a sudden, as soon as you come in a relationship, you lose 6 other things you will never be able to do in your life again. I don't want to ever put a restriction on somebody. I don't want to. Yeah, there's certain things in a relationship. You have to have boundaries and things like that in life and relationships and all that. But when I see so many people get into a relationship, oh, he can't do that now. He doesn't like that or she doesn't like that. I'm like, it's not that bad a deal. Go have a fucking chicken wing. No, they're gonna have a cigarette. No, if they find out, I'm like, it's a cigarette. Go have a fucking cigarette. Like it's not the end of the world.
I feel like
what
you've
mean?
had this conversation before because as if I will get drunk and a couple of my girlfriends be like, they want that extra smoke and they can't,
whatever,
they're not allowed.
My God, whatever. I'm like, fuck, it's not my life. My lungs, go smoke a cigarette. Would I like it? No, but whatever. Certain things I'm not a fan of, but I'm like, as long as I don't see it, I don't want to. It's great. Because why should you stop living your life when you start living with someone else's life? Can't you continue your life that you really want to do things and then have someone else come into your life and be a part of all of that? And it takes a lot sometimes because a lot of times you got to go, well, I fucking don't agree with that, but I support you, so I'm all in. Let's fucking do it. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I never, ever want to be the reason that at the end of your life in your 80s and 90s to go, if I wasn't with him or her, I would have done this. I never want that line. So whoever I'm with, I'm like, go do it. There's no even question. There's nothing. If you love me, and you're emotionally attached to me, I'm here forever. I'm here for the ride. So I don't want to ever stop anything that you want to try or do in your life because I want to be a part of that. That's what's going to make it last. I want us to have a laugh around the campfire or, back in the grass, having a drink of wine or a beer, walking, in the park or whatever. And go, remember that last year we did this stupid thing? I said, we did that. Yeah, we did it. And your versus going, I can't believe you fucking did that. And you start an argument. What a cool idea to go, we did that, high five. What a cool experience.
Yeah.
So I'm all about experiences, not judging people for their choices and what they may want to experience. Because if you can be with your partner along for that ride and have them have those experiences, that's your life partner. That's when it goes, I wasn't a fan of that, but it was kind of cool. You know what I mean? And you get on with it.
Yeah,
or maybe it was great and you do something over and over again, whatever that might be. But I think that's how you keep a relationship. You don't restrict somebody because I don't want to be restricted in my life. I only got one life to live.
Yeah.
And I want to enjoy it and I want you to come along for the ride. You know what I mean? It always has to be certain boundaries because certain things people go off the deep end and they're maybe intolerable to live with. So there's certain other things. I'm not saying it has to be everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but within a reason. It's, don't restrict somebody's life because you want them to live your life. To me, I just think that's so selfish.
Yeah. I think the best thing to say to yourself is, I hope that when this person is 80 or 90 years old, they say, I wish I could have done it, but that person didn't let me. Like, I would never want to be that person. I'd feel awful.
Yes. Because so many people I talk to go, well, if I wasn't married, I'm like, that's not the line. That's not the line. I wasn't married. Then you shouldn't be married. Like, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
You get one life. And find somebody that will enjoy it with you and be okay with certain things. No one has to love everything you do. No, that's impossible. But someone that's kind of like gets you and goes, yeah, go have a great time. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Is that advice that you would give to somebody who wants to become a magician or a comedian? Is it really just sort of that advice kind of is universal
do it,
in all aspects, even with your own audience?
Yeah, do it and don't give up. You know what I mean? And don't worry about what other people say because everyone's going to tell you what to say and what to do and what's wrong and right. That doesn't ever bother me. There's going to be jealousy. The more popular you get, the more famous, the more money you make, there's more people that aren't going to like you. And go, I just don't get it. I'm like, yeah, I don't get it either. You know what I mean? But people who are very famous out there have become very successful because people like them and they do what they do because they're liked and they're very good at what they do. You know what I mean? And so just do you. You know what I mean? And you're gonna. So many people saying no, but that's okay. That's part of being successful. I don't care. You talk about Oprah or Dr. Phil. Not everyone loves Oprah. Not everyone loves Dr. Phil. Not everyone likes Ricky Lake. The list goes on and on and on. You know what I mean? From Jeff Bezos to Bill Gates, you can always have, because when you're that popular and that famous, the only way to become popular or successful is to be loved or hated, not liked. You'll never become famous being liked. Because anyone I can mention, there's always someone that completely can't stand them. You can go presidents, go to every president, doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
I don't care what side of the world you're on or what party you choose. There's always going to be 50% that don't like the damn person. Woman, man, black, white, whatever the hell it is, you know what I mean? So there's always going to be just do you know what I mean? So that's always, and stay the course, and it's okay to take 3 steps, it's okay to take 2 steps back as long as you take 3 forward.
Yeah.
That's 1 forward, right? So I've always said that. It's okay to go back and figure shit out. And then go, all right. And then as long as you go 3 forward, that because you learned from those 2 steps back, that's a win. It's okay for that, But don't just take 2 steps back and stay back there,
I love you so much, and I never know where these interviews are going to go, but I feel like you dropped so many incredible gems, including the taking 2 steps back for 3 steps forward, because I think that so many people, including myself, listen, we've been very transparent on this show. I left my morning show because the show went under. Radio wasn't doing well anymore in December. And it felt like a very scary situation. Thankfully, I have a lot of faith in knowing everything does work out, just universally. I do feel like I try to be as spiritual as possible. But it did require me taking a few steps back to get the couple steps forward. But nobody ever said that. To me like that.
Yeah,
and I kind of wish they would have, because it's the best advice. Like, you're not going back, babe. You're just pivoting.
Totally. That's the new. That's the
I
term,
love you,
know,
dude.
so.
Can you be my therapist?
Perfect. Let's go.
Can we get
Let's
like
go.
a weekly with Murray?
Perfect,
Fuck the
see?
magic. I just need a therapist. I don't have
Right?
health insurance right now.
See, you should get some. My God.
You and my
That's another story.
mother-in-law.
That's another episode right there. You know. Oh,
Okay, I know that you brought something. I love when people do their incredible things that they do, whether they're singers or comedians. I know that you brought a little something.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And I would love for you to bless So Funny It
Sure.
Hurts with it.
Sure. Yeah. So I brought this. I'm not a very good artist, but so I brought. You'll see here. So I have a notepad, which you'll see in a second, which is just a blank old notepad there, as you can see there.
Great.
And that's just going to stay here for a second. But I love traveling, so I picked 4 of my favorite kind of postcards from around the world. So we got Self-Portrait of Van Gogh, which you can see there, right?
Great.
And then, of course, we got the Mona Lisa, which you have. And then the Scream, a very famous painting. And then the girl with the white pearl earring, right? So,
Beautiful.
So yes, it's a very famous postcard. So I'm going to shuffle the cards up like this, all right? And do me a favor, just say stop whenever you want. You can choose one, okay?
Okay.
Say stop wherever you wish.
Stop.
Right there. Okay, which one do you want? Just tap one. That's the one you'd like. Okay. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to look because if I look, it's going to ruin the whole thing. But you have a look which one you chose. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to show the camera so the people out there can see as well. I'm not looking, obviously. But you see which one you chose, yes?
Yes.
You know what that is? Okay, great. I'm going to put those down and mix these up again so you can't see. And they're all there, as you can see that, right? So we're just going to put these over there. So now this, I always carry my hairspray with me because I kind of call it magic hairspray. So on my sketch pad, I'm going to take a wild guess what you chose, okay? And you can tell me if I get close, all right? You watching the pad?
Okay.
Here we go, watch.
No!
What do you think?
No!
Am I right?
Murray! Yes!
What you chose?
Oh my God!
Isn't that cool?
Murray!
Am I
Listen,
right?
I'm not. You're 100%
She's
right.
like, no, you're not.
I guess I say no. You're like, well, is it or is it not, bitch?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Perfect.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
See? There you go. Didn't even know I was an artist.
I did it, but
See?
you're a man of many different traits.
How ridiculous
Listen
is
to me. This is so crazy. I'm not one to get gooped or gagged. I don't get like star-studded, none of that.
Uh-huh.
But when we see magic, I'm obsessed. It's unbelievable.
You have to come hang out on my show.
I will. I would love
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Or fan. I'm both show. I do my show at Trop, of course, which is my full show. And
That
I also
was
do the guest
amazing.
spot. Oh, yeah, like, thank you.
Right, that
And then I
was
do the
so
guest spot at Fantasy at the Luxor, so which is a beautiful show.
I know.
as
And
well, yeah.
how is it working with such hideous-looking women?
I know, it's tough,
I feel
but
bad
somebody
for
has
you.
to do it.
I
Somebody has to
know
do it. But you know what? Somebody has to do it, and
yeah, and it
it's
might
a
as well
shame.
be you. That
Man.
damn Anita, just out
Oh,
here creating
I
horrible
know.
shows.
I know.
I will tell you, I auditioned to be the swing when I first moved here. The first time. Okay, those girls are bad bitches, first of all. They're beautiful.
Stunning.
They're talented.
Yeah.
They're sweet.
Yes.
And Lorena was going out of town. Lorena
Yeah, love
Pearl,
Lorena
who
Pearl, yeah.
sings. It's her show.
Yeah, dear friend.
I
yeah.
was going to do a swing, though, for her. And then they brought out this fucking rope act.
Oh, really?
And I was like you have to hold the rope and you have to sing it.
Oh, they did a rubber band thing with a
It was
big
a
black
rubber-
rubber band.
Uh-huh.
I remember that. It's not in the show anymore right now, but they always swap things. I remember that when you had to switch and back and forth.
Oh,
and
you were doing like
Did you rehearse
choreography
that?
and shit.
Did you get it?
Hell to the no.
I was like, I don't know how you get out of it at the end of it. I'd be
First of
like,
all, no,
Good night.
I one time did yoga and
Yep.
they put the
band.
band around my thighs and the woman kept making me push
Yeah.
and it flipped off and right into her chin. I swear to God. And I was like, I'm not made for yoga. I'm not made for yoga. I was
That's it.
terrified. And when I saw those fucking fantasy bands,
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, and I'm not made for this bitch either. And thankfully
so
I got a
funny.
really great gig that
Sure.
was mine. But they're so talented.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great show.
And it's a great show.
Beautiful. She's always changing things. Like every year, she puts 3 to 4 new numbers in, new calendar every October. So it's an amazing. She's been here 25 years now. So it's
Yeah.
amazing, And she's
Yeah.
amazing. Anita is timeless.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, and she used to choreograph Elvis Presley, Cher, all those people.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, way back. Isn't
Wow.
that crazy? Yeah.
Listen, that's the greatest thing about Vegas. You can go anywhere in the world, but there's not history and culture the way there is. And you're actually a historian. You did the
Yeah, Pawn Stars.
historian of Pawn
I've
Stars.
been on there for 17 years now. So I've gotten
Yeah.
3 years. So yeah.
What's the craziest thing that you have found, or maybe one of the craziest things being the historian for Pawn Stars?
I think I do stuff for restraints as well, like Houdini's handcuffs and things like that. So one of our episodes, a guy came in and he said, I got some handcuffs. I'd like you to, I'd like to sell here.
Kinky
So-
handcuffs or just
Well, I
handcuffs?
guess they could be,
Okay.
depending what time of the day. You know what I
Asking
mean?
for a friend,
Yeah, exactly.
okay.
And so, well, that's the funny thing. So I thought, oh, maybe he's got 4 or 5, because he collects them. Shit you not, he had like 190 handcuffs of every type of handcuff was different. He had this collection. I'm like, that's a bit of an obsession, and
Houdini was a kink.
scared the hell out of me. Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, wow. And he showed me how much he thinks they're worth. And I'm kind of handling them going, I don't even know where these fit. And they're just really weird handcuffs from like the 1870s and 1920s and all these things. And actually, I think half of them, Rick and Chum, they ended up buying because they were really cool handcuffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe it.
So now they're sold at a love store. No, they're not. But,
And they come without keys, so you have to figure your way out.
Exactly, or run fast. So.
Well, I love you. I'm so grateful that you stopped by.
Thanks for having me.
And I
This
know
is
that
fun.
people can come and see you at Fantasy and also at Tropicana. I'm
Yep.
going to come. That joke. The joke.
Yeah.
The art
Magic trick.
sketch was amazing. That's still
Thank you.
unbelievable to me. And thank you for
Thank you.
making time for us.
Thanks. You're always, guest at my shows or anything you want, fantasy or thank you for having me
Don't say
on.
that because
Yes.
I will show up
You
front
show all
row
the
by
time.
myself and I'll be like, and how is he doing that?
Exactly.
Shit? I'm obsessed
Get a little
with
witch
it.
hat on like that. See a little magic wand.
I want to. I want to know everything. I'm like, cut
Perfect.
me in half. Do you cut
Sure.
people in half?
I do. I've cut my wife in half once and twice.
Could you cut a
Yes.
little bit of the fat off of me?
That would be
or
expensive, but I could be.
okay.
I could, you look great. when
You know
talk
what? You're
about
kind of a
fat.
doctor. You could do liposuction.
Yeah, I'd be a lot richer, probably, in this town.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Murray.
Thank
We
you.
adore you. And you're
Thanks.
welcome anytime here.
Thank you again.
So Funny It Hurts is brought to you by Pacific West Injury Law. Got into an accident? Contact Pacific West Injury Law. Also, there's nothing better for your mental health than a great workout. And our episode is brought to you by Fit Club, the only place to be. It's so funny, it hurts.